Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. This is Raj here. Welcome to our Sunday show. It's the 31st of July, 2022. And what I have in store for you today is a bunch of curated articles that I went through and have drawn some conclusions. I would like to have your opinion on that. Let's get started. Well, let's start with some of the positive developments so far. So the very first item that comes to mind in my list is Manchin and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer getting together to strike a $740 billion reconciliation deal that will reduce the deficit by around $300 billion, and now includes not only the previously announced CMS drug price negotiation provisions, but also caps senior out-of-the-pocket costs at around $2,000 per year and a 15% corporate minimum tax for $1 billion corporations as part of a larger package of climate change and energy security reforms. And this is a whole bunch of things, even though it's not as ambitious as what Joe Biden initially set out to do. It has definitely wrecked Mitch McConnell's plan of not giving any wins to the Biden administration, just like they attempted to do with the Obama administration. And it would have helped them probably in the midterm elections to say that this administration did not achieve anything. So I think they got really taken aback by this development because it was all done in the secret. And therefore, I think they decided to renege on the PACT bill, which helps veterans who have come back from war and are suffering catastrophic injuries and lingering health problems. And that was not a proper move. So overall, this is all going to impact the way the midterms will shape out going forward. And during the weekend, Jon Stewart was all over the place because he tried to help the 9/11 first responders, and he kept on championing their cause. And now he is doing the same for veterans. Well, moving on, there's plenty of M&A as well as deals buzz in the pharma sector. This is because of some of the forward-looking statements from big pharma that I found among the Q2 earnings releases. The first one I can think of here is Bristol Myers Squibb. Bristol Myers Squibb is eyeing the M&A arena with CEO Giovanni Caforio saying that the company's approach will be size agnostic. And now this term size agnostic is what I have been hearing in the speeches from many of the corporate leaders in the biotech sector, in the big pharma. And I think it would mean that they could go for a smallest of the companies as well as the biggest of the companies when it comes to doing a deal with or acquiring. That's how I interpret it. As far as Bristol Myers Squibb is concerned, the company raked in $11.9 billion in the last quarter. So they are literally rolling in money. Similar sentiment was expressed by Amir Malik, Chief Business Officer for Novartis. He said, "We are leaving very few stones unturned when we look at opportunities. We are going to be very open to deal structures. And as we have said before, we are also going to be agnostic to size." Again, the size agnostic qualification out here for targets. So I think we should be pretty happy that our genomic companies are well poised to get financial support in any form possible, because the big pharma is definitely going to seize on any opportunities that it can get in order to be at the forefront of genomic medicine, which seems to be the future of medicine going forward. So having said that, let's go and have a look at the global scene. Looking at the global scene, the IMF now expects the world economy to grow 3.2% in 2022 before slowing to a 2.9% GDP rate in 2023, marking a downgrade of around 0.7 percentage points from their previous estimate in April. Asia's share of total global debt has increased from 25% before 2000-2008 global financial crisis to 38% after the coronavirus public health emergency. So this statistic shows the extent to which the economy of many Asian countries and developing countries have been damaged by the pandemic. The US GDP outlook was lowered 1.4 percentage points to 2.3%, driven by weaker than expected growth in the first half of 2022, reduced household purchasing power, and tightening monetary policy. China's economy was seen growing 1.1 percentage points, short of previous estimates, following extended COVID lockdowns. We remember the Shanghai lockdowns and how it had impacted various companies with manufacturing plants out there. So that's also factored in. And also the factored in is a deepening real estate crisis. The world's second largest economy, China, is now expected to grow 3.3% in 2022, its lowest clip in 4 decades, barring the initial fallout from the COVID-19 crisis in 2020. The Chinese economy is also looking a bit weak and soft. However, there's a bright spot out there. India's forecast was cut by only 0.8 percentage points to leave a 7.4% growth, largely due to less favorable external conditions and more rapid policy tightening. Out here, I think India definitely benefited from the fact that Russia wanted to sell its oil desperately, and they got a lot of discounts, or else the forecast would have been cut by a much higher number if India hadn't got slightly cheaper oil from Russia. That's my personal opinion based on what I have seen in the last couple of quarters. Meanwhile, Eurozone's outlook was lowered to 0.2 percentage points, and it's now pegged at 2.6%, though IMF said that greater fallout from the war in Ukraine was likely to hit further in 2023, particularly in the major economies of Germany, France, and Spain. And I think that at this point of time, the European Union's economy grew at a seasonally adjusted 4% last quarter when compared to the same quarter a year ago, and 0.6% compared to the first quarter, according to a preliminary estimate published Friday by the EU Statistics Office. I think that probably there will be a revision on this, and it might likely go down a little bit because the pressure of having to put an embargo on Russian oil has already caused a lot of problems for Europe. They have been looking at energy consumption cuts and caps and so on. So I think there will be a downward revision for EU whenever it comes. Overall, global inflation is now forecast to hit 6.6% in advanced economies and 9.5% in emerging market and developing economies this year, an upward revision of 0.9% and 0.8 percentage points respectively. Let's end with the good news. Nasdaq and other three indices in the US ended strongly positive, as we saw on Friday. Also, European shares have done well in the last couple of weeks. So overall, everything is looking good. And even in our genomics sector, we had a look at the overall situation. Most of the genomics companies are on a bull channel at this point of time, even though they had shown a lot of weakness during the week. But overall, they are still on a bull channel, so that's also good news. And speaking of earnings, here are the Q2 earnings we expect next week. If you look at this chart here, you'll see that on Monday, we are looking for a whole bunch of earnings, out of which I'm more interested to see how Pinterest does, because Pinterest has fallen quite a bit. And I'm very keen to see whether they are in a position to recover a little. On Tuesday, we have Uber, which I'm interested in, along with Marriott and Airbnb, because these will show us post-COVID movements, and if any uptick and positive outlook here could show us that the constraints of COVID are being released, and the economy will do better going forward. I'm also looking forward to earnings from AMD on Tuesday, because AMD has crossed Intel in market capitalization, and it will be interesting to see how they are looking at the upcoming quarter and contrast that with what Intel had done. That will let us know whether Intel is doing bad as a company or it's suffering the same way as the industry. PayPal also is another one that I'd like to look at, because I have it in my portfolio, and I'd also like to see how PayPal is doing in the emerging trends in the payment services. We also have SoFi. I used to hold SoFi earlier, but I'm still interested in looking at what happens to SoFi, because I think the share is undervalued and it needs to do much better. We also have Starbucks presenting. So Starbucks again will show us the discretionary spending, as well as people going to work and being up and about. When you put that along with Uber and Marriott and all that, that will give an idea of post-COVID improvement in the economy. Of course, we have Gilead reporting. So I'd be interested in looking at the Gilead report to get an idea of how the pharma sector is doing. Then on Wednesday, we are looking at Lucid Motors. I want to contrast that with what Tesla and GM have announced and see how Lucid is doing. Also, we have Moderna and CVS Health along with Regeneron on the health sector and pharmaceuticals. Will be interesting to see what their outlook is, especially for M&A activity, whether they have a big budget out there, if they have any plans. That will be interesting to know. And if you look at Thursday's earnings, we are looking at Alibaba coming out there with its earnings, as well as AMC. And we are also looking at Paramount in the entertainment side, and Cloudflare reporting on Thursday. So those are the things that I'll be looking at. And on Friday, we have DraftKings. That's the only one that I'm keen about. Apart from that, I think we still have to remember that we have genomic companies which are reporting, and we have SQZ and PSEB reporting on the 3rd of August, and Intelia and Bluebird reporting on 4th of August. I've already put my Q2 earnings estimate video for all these companies. You can check that out if you go to the YouTube page for ShareTreck. You'll find those videos in there. Please have a look and let me know what your comments are. So with that said, I think I'd like to bring this video to an end. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please press a like out there to help promote the channel. And if you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe and help us grow this channel. And also, please don't forget to tune in on the end of day live stream if you have some time. We have a good banter out there, and we also watch the market, last 30 minutes of market to see how it's closing, take stock of all the things that have happened intraday. And also after the end of the market, we do a very quick technical analysis on all our genomic shares, and look at how it has fared for the day and what it's going to do the next day. So please join me out there. With that said, I would like to say bye to you. I hope you have a great weekend. Bye for now.